The president speaks to Congress and the nation in his fifth State of the Union address last night. Obama says it's the American citizenry that makes the nation strong.
To the people we represent, it is you, our citizens, who make the state of our union strong. And here are the results of your efforts. The lowest unemployment rate in over 5 years, a rebounding housing market, a manufacturing sector that's adding jobs for the first time since the 1990s, more oil produced at home than we buy from the rest of the world, the first time that's happened in nearly 20 years. Our deficits cut by more than half. And for the first time in over a decade, business leaders around the world have declared that China is no longer the world's #1 place to invest. America is.
All sounds good. And this morning, Congressman Steve Cohen, 9th District Congressman, joins us live in Washington. He's at the Fox News headquarters. And Congressman Cohen, good morning to you, first of all.
Good morning. It was snowy in Washington. It's cold.
And it's certainly cold here, but for some, it was a lukewarm response for the president last night. Let's talk about the minimum wage first. I know a lot of folks will be happy about that, except for business owners. What is your take on his minimum wage proposal, both on the federal level and asking Congress to pass it for everybody else?
Well, I think it was great that he's going to sign the federal minimum wage to go up to $10.10, and I think Congress needs to raise it to $10.10. A family of 4 working 40 hours a week can get at $10.10 plus the earned tax investment credit can get out of poverty. You shouldn't have to work 40 hours and still be in poverty. So there's a reason for $10.10, and the minimum wage has gone down with real dollars since 1968 when it peaked. It's down 20% since President Reagan was in office. It needs to be raised. And when those people get that money, they're going to spend every single penny of it. That puts money in the economy. When there's money in the economy and people can spend money, that creates jobs because you have economic activity. The folks who've been getting the greatest benefit from this recovery, and there's been a great recovery, people who've got investments in the Dow Jones was up like 25, 28, whatever it was, % last year. Most of those people, they're not living in the 9th District, and they're not spending that money. And so it just sits there and it gets invested. And when it gets invested, it can be worldwide, globally invested. We need money that gets spent in Memphis and in the United States, and the minimum wage gives people money in their pockets that they're going to spend, and that creates a middle class, and that creates jobs. The real job creators are the middle class people who spend money.
What's the chance that that could pass in Congress, raising the federal minimum wage?
I think it's going to be difficult. So obviously the Senate can pass it, where there's a majority of Democrats and a few Republicans who probably join with them. I think polls show that it's overwhelmingly popular. I think Speaker Boehner has learned from the shutdown of government, which was an absolute failure, and of course it was the fault of his recalcitrant right-wing part of the party, and also the threat to America's credit rating when they didn't want to extend the debt ceiling, that they've made some mistakes, and they want to go through the 2014 elections and look more moderate and more responsible. And I think by responding on the minimum wage, they will be more moderate and more responsible. It's a possibility, if the Senate passes it, that there'll either be enough Republicans and Speaker Boehner will see it and try to bring his caucus along. I don't think they want to hang themselves on the minimum wage because they could.
Right.
They don't want, that just seems miserly and wrong. I'm a big proponent of Robert Reich and Paul Krugman. Both of them say the minimum wage is essential. The disparity in wealth is so great. But the job creators are the middle class. It's the people who spend the dollars. And if people don't have money to spend, you can't have jobs in America and wealth.
A lot of folks will argue, though, the job creators can't afford to raise the minimum wage for their workers. Some might go out of business. But let's talk about immigration right now. What did you think about the president's thoughts on immigration?
Well, I'm for immigration reform, and those are also workers who we need to take from out of the shadows of the workforce and put them right in the legal, and where they'll be paying, their wages will be taxed, and they can participate, and their children can get education and get college scholarships and participate. Some of the bright minds can't get Hope Lottery scholarships, can't get scholarships whatsoever, and have to pay outrageous tuition rates, and therefore don't go to college. But the job creators are the middle-class people who spend money. They're not the wealthy people who are making millions and millions and millions of dollars and not paying their fair share of taxes. They are not the job creators. They are the people who are hoarding the money that are keeping this recession still lingering over most of the people.
So the president's hitting the road this morning on his trip to further his message. He's coming to Tennessee, not Memphis, but he's coming to Nashville on Thursday. Will you be there with him, Congressman?
Well, I definitely plan to. I was going to drive up from Memphis. My flight to Memphis, you know, we don't have nonstops hardly anymore, and our one nonstop so early in the morning you can't use that in doing my votes. So the Atlanta airport, I think, is shut down. So I'll be there one way or another, and I may have to hitch a ride on Air Force One, but if that's necessary, I think the president will come through.
Well, we wish you luck getting on Air Force One, and if you do get on it, take pictures and put them on the tweeter for us there, Congressman, okay?
The tweeter, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. 9th District Congressman Steve Cohen, good to talk to you this morning. Try to stay warm up there in the neighborhood.
Thank you, Val.